Fostering a Resilient Data Sphere for All is voor 2023 het thema van de 39e jaarvergadering en mini-expo georganiseerd door de Canto. Hotel Torarica is van 5 tot 7 februari de plek waar lidlanden en hun ICT- of telecomproviders om de tafel zitten en waar nodig tot gezamenlijke besluiten komen. Dit alles in het belang van deze sector. In deze aflevering van Onder de Loep zullen we het hebben over de 39e Canto-jaarvergadering die in Suriname plaatsvindt. Goedenavond, welkom bij het programma Onder de Loep. Het programma waarin we actualiteiten in breder perspectief plaatsen en vanuit meerdere invalshoeken bekijken. In deze aflevering van Onder de Loep praten we over de 39e Canto-jaarvergadering die in Suriname plaatsvindt. Na de break stel ik mijn gasten aan u voor. We zullen het het deel van dit programma in het Engels doen, omdat we ook Engels sprekende gasten hebben. Dus hopelijk uw begrip daarvoor. Today, in Onder de Loep, we have Mr. David Cox. He is the chairman of the board of directors of the Canto. Welcome.
Thank you
We
very
have
much.
Mr. Mike Antonius. He is the CEO of Telesur and also the vice chairman of the board of directors of Canto. And we also have Mrs. Teresa Wankin, yes, the Secretary General of the Canto. Welcome in Onder de Loep.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We will start with Mr. David. Fostering a resilient data sphere for all is the theme of Canto this year. Please tell us why this theme.
Right. Well, we live in an increasingly digital world, and all of our services, our economies, our goods are being increasingly digitized. Information about our personal lives is becoming increasingly digitized and stored in computers that are not based in the countries where we live. And so in those circumstances where the world is changing so rapidly because of this digitization, it's important that we discuss the parameters for being able to exist in that digital world in a way that's safe and that promotes the welfare of all concerned. So that's really what we're focused on in this AGM, this theme. It's about how do we create the best possible space for all of us in the Caribbean, all of us in the region, to work and live in that digital world in a way that's also safe and promotes our welfare.
Amazing, that's really good. And for the people who do not know what Canto is, what is Canto? Maybe I can ask the question to Mr. Mike Antonius, because maybe he can tell it in Dutch. Canto, wat is Canto? Wat moeten de mensen daarbij denken?
Canto is een organisatie in het Caribisch gebied die eigenlijk begonnen is met telecomoperators. Maar door de jaren heen, door de hele ontwikkeling van de ICT-sector, zijn er ook diverse ICT-bedrijven bij de Canto aangesloten. En vanuit alle landen in het Caribisch gebied is dat het geval. En dit jaar houden we de 39e jaarvergadering in Suriname.
Geweldig. Canto, waarom is het belangrijk dat er een Canto is, een Canto bestaat in deze regio?
Kijk, ook telecombedrijven hebben hun belangen. En wij, door ons in dit verband te verenigen, kunnen wij ook de belangen die operators hebben in de telecomsector, kunnen wij die adresseren en ook nagaan naar oplossingen. We zijn niet alleen competitors van elkaar, maar er zijn ook gebieden waarop er samengewerkt wordt. Dus tegen die achtergrond is het wel belangrijk dat die organisatie er is. Het is natuurlijk ook een plek waar leveranciers en operators bijeenkomen. En het is een goed platform om business te doen.
Ja, ik kan me voorstellen. Mrs. Teresa, what are the expectations of this conference, this Canto conference?
Okay, so some of the expectations include dealing with pertinent issues that's facing the region, that facing telecom in the region. A very big part of that is cybersecurity. As David just said in his conversation, that we live in an information age, and that information comprised with data, and securing that data is very important. So we'll have several discussions on cybersecurity from the business side, from the regulatory side, and from the governmental, the policy side. So you can expect good discussions on that. There's also a showcase of emergent technologies that can be used by the region to solve some of our problems and connectivity problems. There will be lots of discussions on that. And of course, in all of that, we'll be showcasing Suriname, part of the culture of Suriname, part of the cuisine and what Suriname has to offer. Yes.
And you told me that you love the cuisine, right?
Of course I do.
And you talked about a lot of different companies that attend. Who will be the speakers? Which speakers will attend the conference?
Okay, so started from the very top. The president of Suriname is going to grace us with his present, and he will be part of our opening ceremony. And then, of course, we have our directors who will be speaking on various issues at various points in time. In addition to that, we have companies like Microsoft, we have companies like Calix, and all the providers of technology and connectivity. They will be speaking at the event. Together we have about 250 participants, comprising about, let's say, 100 different companies.
Amazing, amazing. And Mr. David, can you please tell us, how are the preparations going?
Well, so far, we're very excited. We think we're going to have an excellent AGM this year, probably one of the best, and that's all made possible because of Suriname, the people of Suriname, and of course the excellent support that we've gotten from the CEO of Telesur, who is the vice chair and who has provided just incredible support to our event. We're very excited, and I think that Suriname should be very, very proud of the event.
Amazing, amazing. We gaan even naar de reclamebreak en we zijn zo dadelijk weer bij u terug. Terug uit de break. We gaan door praten met onze gasten. En ik wil direct beginnen met meneer Antonius. Ja, wat zijn de ontwikkelingen? Ja, u bent directeur van Telesur, dus u zult het zeker wel weten. Wat zijn de ontwikkelingen op het gebied van telecommunicatie in onze regio?
Nou, in onze regio is het met name digitale transformatie. Digitale transformatie is het reeds enige tijd. Als je nagaat, onze regio vergelijkt met ontwikkelde landen, dan hebben wij, als het gaat om digitale ontwikkelingen, een achterstand in vergelijking dus met de ontwikkelde landen. En is het dus belangrijk dat wij die digitale transformatie ondergaan, zodat we de gap die er is gaan verkleinen. Dus digitale transformatie is ook binnen Telesur een belangrijke topic, omdat ook wij een transitie ondergaan waarbij wij als operator aan het transformeren zijn van een klassieke telecom operator die gewoon eenvoudige bel- en datadiensten leverde, we aan het transformeren zijn om te worden een digitale communication service partner.
Geweldig. Ik hoorde, want mevrouw Teresa die gaf het aan, dat er best wel heel veel grote bedrijven, mensen van grote bedrijven aanwezig zullen zijn. Hoe belangrijk is dat voor Suriname eigenlijk als het ware? Natuurlijk ook Telesur.
Kijk, elke effort die we als Suriname kunnen zetten om Suriname op de wereldkaart nog meer van zich te doen spreken is belangrijk. We zien het al hoe de ontwikkeling rondom oil en gas. Als wij ook zeg maar dat met IT kunnen doen, met ICT, met telecom, is het allemaal in het voordeel van ons land. Er komen door deze conferentie ongeveer 200 delegates uit het buitenland naar hier. En er is ook behoorlijk wat belangstelling vanuit Surinamers om aan deze conferentie mee te doen.
Ja, dat is een goed teken. Mrs. Teresa, a resilient data sphere. Can we keep up with the rest of the world?
Of course we can, because we have lots of talent in
Okay.
the region.
Okay.
We have technology companies, our members, and in this region, I would beg to differ from most people, can learn from the mistakes of the rest of the world.
Of course.
With the Caribbean, because we are small island development states, we learn from each other, and we have strength in numbers because we work very closely with each other. Cable and wireless, Telesur, Digital, all our operators come together for a common good. So when we face an issue, Telesur don't face an issue alone. We face
Alone,
an
yeah.
issue as a Caribbean issue. And I think that is very telling for us. So while we don't have companies that invest millions of dollars into research and development, we are partnered with those companies and we benefit from that research
Yeah, from
and
that
development.
research. And you talk about the issues that we face. What are some challenges that Canto faces?
Well, from a global perspective, we face issues of dwindling revenues because of everything that's going on in the world. Of course, we are now emerging out of the pandemic. And as you know, telcos would have had to really step up our game during the pandemic
Of
because
course.
we needed to be connected.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that connectivity made telcos, that need for connectivity made our members step up their goal, and some of them had to talk to governments about more spectrum to provide every single citizen with access. And if you notice, in Suriname, like the other Caribbean countries, that access didn't dwindle. You were able to talk to your loved ones, you were able to make all your calls, your children were being schooled from home, and they were able to go online to do so. Coupled with that, we have bandwidth issues. We needed more bandwidth, so some of our members would have to provide that bandwidth. There's a cost to that. So all those issues, and of course we are facing fair share and competition from,
Of
like,
course.
to be honest with you, OTTs, which is always an issue. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
No
Okay.
problem.
Mr. David, we talked about the issues, but I know there are a lot of odds too. What are the odds of Canto?
Well, by odds, you mean what are some of the...
Some are the positives
Yes.
that we can look forward to. Let me say it like that.
Well, I think, the value that Canto brings is, manifold. First of all, Canto allows for real sharing and collaboration between operators on things that are important to the industry. And through that sharing, different companies can adapt different strategies for dealing with, specific challenges they may be facing in their country. But more importantly, Canto provides a real forum for operators to work together on common challenges. So one challenge that we face as an industry is the impact of what are called over-the-top providers like WhatsApp and Netflix and YouTube and Google, and what's referred to as big tech. And those services compete directly with the services that we provide in some respects. And those services have an impact on our traditional revenues, the traditional revenues that operators like Telesur and others in the Caribbean have relied on. So for example, 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, when you traveled from one country to the next, you would have to roam, and you would have to pay your operator at home some of the money that you spent when you were in a different country, in CARICOM, for example, or if you traveled to Europe or to North America. But those revenues now are almost non-existent because when you travel, you don't use your phone to make a direct call. You simply use WhatsApp. You go on Wi-Fi, and you make a call, and you pay nothing for that if you're on Wi-Fi, or if you use any data. It's not very expensive. So the challenge, that's good for the customer, by the way. Let's be fair. The customer is enjoying access to more services at a much reduced cost. But here is the problem. In countries like Suriname and Guyana and other places, we need to provide, that is, operators like Telesur and other operators in the Caribbean need to provide broadband connections in people's homes throughout the entire country. We need to bring broadband to schools for young people to learn. We need to make sure that people can get access to education and other services online, that the government can put its services online. But doing that requires very expensive investments in infrastructure. We have to build the infrastructure over which those services run. And while those revenues are being depleted, companies like Telesur and other companies have less money to invest in the infrastructure. So we are at a critical point in history for the telecoms industry. And the main challenge, in summary, is how do companies continue to generate enough revenue to keep investing in new technologies, to bring 5G, to bring different technologies to all of the people who demand it at prices that they can afford when the revenues that they're getting from that investment is going down every year. So that is really the challenge.
Yeah.
And the great benefit of something like Canto is it provides a forum to figure out how to address problems like that.
Amazing. En ik denk dat Telesur ook wel gebruik maakt van al de positieve dingen die Canto met zich meebrengt. Als ik zo hoor, de investeringen, et cetera. Wat heeft Telesur allemaal gehaald uit het feit dat we ook partners zijn van de Canto?
Nou, als lid van Canto halen we veel uit de relatie door collaboration. We halen veel uit de relatie door knowledge sharing. We delen kennis met elkaar. En zoals de voorzitter het net aangaf, als er identieke problemen zijn, dan bedenken wij manieren om die gezamenlijk aan te pakken. Het punt dat hij net noemde, waarbij het eerder in het interview is het woord fair share ook al gevallen, omdat het betrekking heeft op zeg maar OTT's, over de top players, die gebruik maken van de bandbreedte, van de connectivity, de broadband connectivity die wij als operators aanbieden. En daardoor in staat zijn om behoorlijke verdienmodellen te creëren. En dat gaat ten koste van de telecom-operator. Dus in dat opzicht zijn wij ook aan het kijken hoe wij ons kunnen verenigen. Of nou, verenigen hebben we al gedaan. Maar we kijken naar methoden over hoe we toch in aanmerking kunnen komen voor een fair share. Want als die connectivity er niet is, als die investeringen die wij moeten verrichten er niet zijn, kan je ook van geen enkele applicatie, service gebruik maken.
Klopt. En dat is denk ik wel heel belangrijk. En heb je natuurlijk ook al je klanten op je dak.
Klopt.
En Mr. David, the telecom sector, where are we going with that? How do we see the future of the telecom sector?
Well, I think that the telecom sector, the future of the telecom sector is bright, but in order for us to get to that better future, we do need to take some critical decisions in the region. We do need to think about how we can protect the operations of operators so that they can continue to invest. We need to make the region more friendly to investment, so that these companies can continue to put in all of the new technologies that people are relying on and to promote connectivity, to get connectivity into rural and poor communities at prices that people can afford. So we need to adopt pro-competitive and pro-operator, pro-infrastructure, pro-investment policies, and that means, preferably low taxes on the telecom sector. That means preferably some protection from the OTT operators, or at least collaboration between OTT operators and telecoms operators to try to work out some arrangement by which operators can derive a bit more revenue and benefit from the work that people are doing. But I think the sector is going to continue to be extremely important. We saw during the pandemic how important connectivity is. Because of the connectivity that operators like Telesur and others in the Caribbean were providing to us throughout the Caribbean, throughout CARICOM in particular, our societies were effectively able to continue to function despite the pandemic, despite the lockdowns, despite the fact that young people were at home and were not able to go to school, and people had to stay home and couldn't go physically into offices to work, many of them. It is only through that connectivity, which is so important, that our societies and our economies were able to continue to function. So I think the pandemic has shown people, has demonstrated in real terms, how important it is to have good connectivity, how important these companies are. And my hope is that with that understanding, we will get pro-investment, pro-operator policies across the region to help support the growth of this sector.
Of course, amazing. We gaan even naar een korte reclamebreak en dan zijn we hierna weer bij u terug met Onder de Loep. Welkom terug bij Onder de Loep. Mrs. Teresa, there's also an expo, right?
Yes.
What will the expo entail?
So the expo will entail products and services, ICT products and services, solutions that some of the telcos in the region has, and the expo will consist of vendors in that space. So you can see latest technology, companies that produce those latest technology. You will get to ask questions, you can get to network with these companies, do business with them. So basically that's what the Expo platform is about. So the conference talk about the content and the technology, and then you get to see that technology in the Expo.
Okay, will there be demonstrations? Can you maybe cooperate, or maybe not cooperate? Can you buy? Can you work together with the people with the vendors that will be at the Expo?
You can certainly do business with them.
So,
I'm not sure about buying stuff on the spot, but you can certainly do business and start a conversation on a sale to improve your own business. There will also be some business-to-business meetings for the companies that are there and the Caribbean companies who want to do business, who want to take their companies to the next level. So that will also happen at the Expo.
At the Expo, amazing. How is the cooperations with the partners in the region, within the Caribbean region?
Excellent, I would say. So Canto is the only platform that brings all stakeholders together. And when I say all stakeholders, from policymakers, the people who make the policy, the regulators who regulate the industry, and of course the service providers, which are the telcos, which are ourselves. And that is so crucial to the development of the region, because one of the things that Canto has always preached is that the region is too small to do anything in a silo. So companies, countries must communicate with each other, and that's why we create that platform to bring everyone together. So like in this conference, we will have some ministers of ICT, not as many as our main conference, but we start that dialogue throughout the year, and we talk about the regulatory environment that the chairman just talked about, which is must for companies to develop. If we don't have a proper regulatory environment for telcos, we would not get the investment that we need. So the governments need to talk to us, and we talk to them, likewise the regulators and the operators. Another interesting thing about Canto is we're the only organization that bring all the competitors under one roof. So like in Suriname, we have Digicel and we have Telesur, and they work together for a common good. So when we are in Canto, they talk about how can we improve Suriname. It's not about Telesur, it's not about Digicel, it's about Suriname. And we pride ourselves on that, and that's replicated in each island or country that we go to. And that's our mantra, I would say. Yeah, that's our mantra, and that's how we grow as a country, a region.
Amazing. And that's something that I would really like to discuss, Mr. Mike. Ja, Digicel en Telesur, samen lid van de Canto. Ja, hoe is de samenwerking?
Nou, er zijn sowieso vlakken waarop we samenwerken. En natuurlijk zijn er vlakken waarop we met elkaar concurreren. En binnen Canto-verband is het meer kijken naar de overeenkomsten, welk belang we gezamenlijk dienen. En daarvoor natuurlijk gaan om dat voor de sector te realiseren.
Ja, nou helemaal goed. Ik denk dat dat zeker een mooi ding is dat Canto met zich meebrengt. Die samenwerking die je dus ook gewoon binnen het land zelf hebt en wat dus dat kan bevorderen. Nou, de 39ste jaarvergadering van de Canto. Als u terugkijkt op het afgelopen jaar, want vorig jaar was dat, hoeveel is er veranderd? Of tenminste, hoeveel is er in het afgelopen jaar gebeurd waarbij u kan zeggen, nee, wij hebben inderdaad wel stappen vooruit genomen met de Canto?
Nou, als het om de afgelopen jaren, als ik er even jaren van mag maken, dan denk ik dat wij een hele grote challenge hebben doorstaan. Door de pandemie. Kijk, Canto is een conferentie waar mensen bijeenkomen. En door de pandemie konden we dat niet doen. En het is ons gelukt onder het voorzitterschap van David Cox en de leiding van de Secretary-General, Mrs. Wonkin, om deze challenge die er was voor ons als organisatie te overbruggen door gebruik te maken van innovatieve mogelijkheden die er zijn en toch de conferentie te kunnen houden, zij het virtueel en wel op een zodanige manier dat wij als organisatie in ieder geval onze kosten in konden voorzien en zelfs een surplus daarbij hebben behaald om in ieder geval verder te investeren in deze sector en natuurlijk ten behoeve van de Canto. Dat is onder de leiding van David Cox gebeurd en daar zijn wij heel erg trots dat hij dat met ons heeft kunnen bewerkstelligen.
Geweldig. Now, finally, Mr. David Cox, do you have a message, advice, a wish for all the members of the Canto?
Well, I think my message really is to the people of Suriname. First to say thanks to the people of Suriname for their hospitality, their generosity, their kindness. They have been amazing hosts and we are very, very pleased and very proud to be here. So we're very excited about it. And I would say to viewers and to people who have an interest in the industry to please think about coming to the event. I think they'll find it very educational. If you are interested in doing business in the Caribbean, any kind of business, whether in ICTs or not, but if you're interested in doing business in the Caribbean, and particularly you're interested in the technology field or in ICTs generally, I think there are a few things you could do that would be as good for you as participating in a Canto event, because in a Canto event, you can have a very, very good, very precise idea about the technological development and journey of the Caribbean, about the technologies that are available, about the capabilities that we offer. And I think that you just only have to look at a place like Suriname, a country like Suriname, one of the first countries in the world to launch 5G services, certainly in the region. That's an impressive achievement that the people of Suriname can be very proud of. And all of this is under the leadership of our CEO here, Mike Antonius. It's that sort of drive and dynamism that defines us as a Caribbean people and as a Caribbean region. And what that means is that we are just as advanced, just as capable as anywhere else in the world. And we can be just as competitive and offer just as much dynamism and connectivity, importantly, as anywhere else in the world. So Suriname is a great place to invest. The Caribbean is a great place to invest. And so, you know, I would just encourage everyone to think about participating or looking up Canto to understand the potential, the great potential that we have in the Caribbean.
Amazing. Thank you.
Can I add something
Yeah,
to
of
what
course.
he just mentioned? Because he mentioned one of the benefits of Canto, and we are at the eve of a launch, right?
Yes.
Mrs. Wonkin, maybe you like to elaborate a bit about the platform.
Yes, of course. So one of the things, important things that we will do on Sunday is launch our e-market platform. And the e-market platform is really an online procurement system, a marketplace that will revolutionize the way the region procure goods and services. It is going to be very transparent. It's going to open up businesses to partner with businesses anywhere in the world, and it's all developed in the Caribbean for the Caribbean. So it is something that all people, all companies producing ICT products and services should get in touch with, should follow us and try to get on that platform, because it has the potential to revolutionize, as I said, how you procure goods and services, not only in the region, but with the entire world.
With the entire world. Amazing. And yes, Mr. David, he said at the start, if people are interested, if they maybe want to become a member of the Canto, I don't know if it's still possible to to enroll, to take part at to enroll in the
Conference.
events,
Yes.
the conference. I don't know if that's still possible, but if people are interested, can they still do that, and how can they do that?
Yes, they can. Registration is still open, and you can do it so by going on our website, www.canto.com. There is a special rate for companies in Suriname if they're willing to come and network with us. As I said, it's the #1 platform for networking in the region. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, LinkedIn. So follow us. The event will be streamed. So if you're looking from anywhere in the world and you want to join us, you can stream the event, you can view the event, you can see the speakers, you can see a little bit about the technology and a little bit about the culture as well online. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can be a part of Canto.
Amazing, amazing. I would really like to thank you all for coming to the studio and talk a little bit about Canto. We want to wish you the very best of luck with the conference and also with everything around Canto.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be here.
Tot zover deze uitzending van Onder de Loep, waarin we over de 39e Canto-jaarvergadering spraken die in Suriname plaatsvindt. We groeten u en we zeggen tot de volgende aflevering. Wilt u dit programma terugzien? Dan kunt u kijken op de YouTube-pagina van ATV Suriname. Goedenavond.